Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the Clallam EDC Coffee with Colleen chat. Colleen is actually currently in a meeting for our Clallam Forest Innovation Program, so I'll be hosting today. My name is Mitch. I'm the Communication Manager for Clallam EDC, and today we're fortunate to be joined by Minnie and Carmen from the Clallam Resilience Project. We're excited to hear about all the good stuff they're doing in our community, all the hard work they're doing. So we will have them present, and then at the end, hopefully, we'll have of some time for Q&A at the end. Additionally, if you have questions throughout, feel free to throw them in the chat and I'll ask them or raise your hand. And I'm sure Minnie and Carmen would be willing to answer questions as they arise. Just a couple housekeeping items before we kick off. If you could remain on mute throughout the presentation unless you have a question, just helps cut down background noise. And the meeting is recorded. It'll be up on our website later today. With that, go ahead and get started, Minnie and Carmen.
Thank you so much, Mitch. It's wonderful to see everyone. So glad that we were able to come today. It's really an honor and a privilege to be able to present with all of you. So I would like to start by introducing myself. My name is Minnie Whalen. I'm with the Clallam Resilience Project.
And I'm Carmen Watson-Charles, also with the Clallam Resilience Project, and work for the Lower Isle Clallam Tribe as culture manager and for the school district as the Native American liaison. Today, I would like to take a moment to do a land welcoming and to, sorry, trying to get our notes up as well at the same time. I would like to welcome you all to Clallam territory, the Clallam territory, where we all resided in. This is, yes, my ancestral land. This is my bloodland, but this is also your land as well. And we invite you to help us take care of it, protect it, all those wonderful things. As you know, we always have large corporations and everything that are always trying to come into our area. So thank you all for joining us today. Hutchinson.
Thank you, Carmen. Hey, Mitch, is our view okay?
Yeah, it looks great. Full screen, looking good.
Great, thank you. So where we think we're going to go today with our time together is really talking about how resilience can be developed both individually and community. And our consortium works to do that. And we work to do that as a collective. And that community resilience thrives when we share language, leadership, and lived experience. And then we're going to transition into an upcoming timely opportunity called October's Resilience Month. And we're going to give you some invitations about how you can be involved in that, share the information, not only events, which are focusing on healing and wellness, because we know that there are culturally responsive community-led spaces and practices help to strengthen those things. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about kits and proclamations, because when we create opportunities for connection, learning, and care, we all benefit. So we're excited to be able to share with you. Thank you. I'll start with a little bit of background. In the 1990s, two researchers from one from the EDC, one from Kaiser Permanente, did a study called the Adverse Childhood Experience Study, otherwise known as ACEs, and it provided a relationship between these 10 adverse childhood experiences, basically clumped in three categories: abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction, and then negative health and well-being outcomes across the lifespan. And so this is on a population level. They worked with 14,000, mostly white, mostly middle-class people in San Diego, and found there's a dose-response relationship between these adverse childhood experiences and health outcomes. And life course outcomes. I think for what was interesting to me is I could understand some of the components of behavioral effects like smoking to address adverse childhood experiences. But the part that was really remarkable is that it has a real physiological effect. So diabetes, obesity, heart disease are all affected by what happens to us when we are young. And the The component of this is still very present here now, and then has been for the last number of years. 1 in 3 adults said in Clallam County said that they experienced 3 or more adverse childhood experiences. And then 1 in 4 10th graders said they experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. And so this is very prevalent. And there was really a call for action. Our community said we want a strategic, mobilized response to adverse childhood experiences. And through a number of listening sessions back in 2018, the Clallam Resilience Project was formed. It's a consortium of local leaders and community members saying we want to do this work together. We want to involve cross-sector partners and really figure out how this work can be addressed in our local community. And we are very happy to have the Olympic Peninsula YMCA as our fiscal sponsor. So the vision of the Clallam Resilience Project is that we are fostering a resilient North Olympic Peninsula, its residents, organizations, systems, and community. So we use research from public health, safety, well-being, and neuroscience to provide opportunities to learn, connect, educate on how and why to provide trauma-sensitive care and hope and healing approaches on the North Olympic Peninsula. So what this includes is sort of looking at expanding resilience and expanding education about trauma on all these levels of the concentric circles that you see here on the slide. And since this group often discusses economic costs and development, we wanted to provide an economic lens around ACEs too. Here are some figures estimating the lifetime cost per victim of non-fatal child treatment. Please note the loss of lifetime productivity on the right. And furthermore, what we know is that people with 6 or more ACEs on an average die 20 years earlier than those without ACEs. So pretty remarkable effects. Again, on a population level, this can be understood in terms of its impact on our community. So the percentage of various health and social problems that epidemiologists estimate are caused by ACEs are on this slide. If you look at what we call the oil slick on the inside of it, this is the percentage that each can be potentially preventable by preventing ACEs. Say that 3 times quickly. So if you have something like being out of work or not graduating college or school or having a mental illness, all of those, you can see the percentages that those could be prevented by reducing adverse childhood experiences. It's a pretty remarkable vision for public health. And so whether you work to prevent heart disease or cancer, hopelessness, public safety, or increased business profitability, this is relevant information to inform you. And I'm going to turn it over to Carmen.
So a little bit about our project. We have our mission statement, which is to build resilience through fostering trauma-sensitive care and expanding the understanding of near sciences for the benefit of everyone in Clallam County. What is near? Near sciences are neurosciences, epigenetics, adverse childhood experiences, which is our ACEs, and resilience. By using and teaching research about community resilience and positive childhood experiences in forums like this, the Clallam Resilience is helping to build
Yeah, dog.
I'm sorry about that. I will go and mute them.
No. So the Clallam Resilience is helping to build just that, resilience. The Clallam Economic Development Council, specifically this form of the Coffee with Colleen, is contributing too. So can you guys see? We'll go ahead and Can you guys see where you guys kind of fit in? I don't know if you guys can read some of those examples
Yeah.
as some of your guys' work. You want to go ahead and anybody want to give us where you guys fit in?
I mean,
Part of
living
the,
wages for us, economic mobility. Yeah. Community-driven policy. I'm sure everybody kind of would fit in one of those categories.
right? Yeah, isn't that phenomenal? And
Mhm.
I think we forget to look at this bigger picture, like this resilience or community tree, and see how we fit in as part of the puzzle. And so I just wanted to take a moment to let you guys reflect on that because it's really important to remember all of our work and how important it is to keep working together, right? So here is using our strength-based approaches. We're on an individual level. Resilience can grow at any stage of life. Positive childhood experiences, such as having back and forth conversations with stable, caring adults, can buffer against the negative lifelong health effects caused by exposure to ACEs. You can see someone here with about the 6 to 7 positive childhood experiences has a 72% lower odds of developing depression or poor mental health as compared to someone who has 0 to 2 positive childhood experiences. I don't know if you guys can see that in the slide there.
Mhm.
And then here on the right, we can see how the Clallam Resilience Project is moving the scale and building awareness about individuals and social connection to help increase community resilience. Resilience Month, for example, helps to showcase existing community resources that are promoting these factors. And you can see listed engagement, wellness, and our partnerships, just to name a few here. Again, looking at the bigger picture, seeing as an individual and then going out into the bigger picture. So, what does the consortium work look like? The consortium helps enhance the capacity of multiple organizations beyond sharing information about resilience, healing, and hope-centered approaches. We are co-constructing projects like Resilience Month with shared responsibility tasks, sorry, we don't want taxes, matrix and goals. And a great example is we have OMC, who is a health-facing organization, and the Boys and Girls Club, which is a social service organization, and Goodness Tea, which is a local business, and they're all collaborating and making resilient kits for our local people. So Resilience Project. So we're going to look at our 3 current priorities. First up, we have free programming, creating shared language and common understanding about resilience, which is available to all across the peninsula and across the lifespan. And that shared language is really, really important. We feel like in our conversations that shared language really matters. So that way, when we're trying to create these programs, that we are coming together and people have a more understanding. We have shared definitions, etc. So keep that in mind in your guys' work as well. Then we also have our engaging partners, often involving community-led and culturally responsive strategies. And then we have our consortium and community wellness depends on shared leadership and spaces. Again, we're looking at the healing and wellness to strengthen by culturally responsive, to help us build all those good things, to be culturally responsive, sorry. So we have Resilience Project Month coming up. I hope you guys are getting excited as we are, and we'll see some of this out in the community. The Resilience Project invites our community to enact these priorities and learn about the practice resilience individually within organizations and together as a community. So we have our events that showcase over 20 events that are resilience building in action. We have poetry, we have fine arts community, we have gathering in natural set that are gathering, sorry, community gatherings in natural settings, music, stories, and education. And then number 2, we have our kits. We have over 300 resilient kits that we have made, and those will be distributed by our trusted ambassadors. And we also have our proclamations, and that are very important that we have started as well. So part of the events, we can invest in building social infrastructure, the programs, policies, and physical elements like libraries and community spaces that allow people to come together and form social connection in their neighborhoods. This is kind of what our events can look like. Resilience Month is a time where partnership that we build with powerful social structure that are experts in creating enriched community spaces that bring people together to form connection with ourselves, our neighbors, and the world around us. We'll take a closer look at our Resilience Month. So here we're showcasing a range from the films to music, from poetry to presentations, from discussions about the Supreme Court to just puzzle contests that we have available. I don't know if you guys want to take a moment, but you're welcome to take a quick snap of the QR code, which will lead you to the calendar right here. We can see on October 11th, we have the puzzle contest at Knowles. We have the Okie Dokie Brothers on October 3rd at the Field Arts Hall. We also have October 18th, Autumn Arts at the Rainforest Arts Center in Forks. So we have a variety of places and organizations that have joined us, and that's what I love about seeing in this calendar. I hope everybody will get that. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward.
It's a busy month. Got a lot going on.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Resilience Month events showcases and recognizes that when individuals experience art, they can be biologically changed. Neurochemical exchanges can lead to a release of emotions and leave you feeling more connected to yourself and others afterwards. So as we can see here, we have sound. Sound vibrations has the capacity to return the body to homeostasis and out of the fight, flight, or freeze reaction. And for me, I go for a long drive, listen to my music just to decompress. Or one of my other go-tos is I kick my foster kids out of the truck and I sit 20 minutes in my truck, just decompressing as they go in and get ready for dinner. Do you guys, can any of you guys relate to any of these? Do any of you read poetry or do any drawings to kind of help? And can you feel that physical response? Does anybody want to share? Okay, it's all good. I would like to go ahead and invite you to my presentation, October 23rd, and it's Creating Common Ground. This is just kind of to share too that our events aren't just, gathering, not just out there doing events like arts and things, but we also have presentations that are knowledgeable. I have been presenting for over 20 years, my culture, my history, and this particular presentation is going to be how we have created collaborations throughout Port Angeles and all the way to self-governance, which means we go all the way to Olympia, Washington, D.C. to work together to help build our community. And it's just all part of becoming resilient and becoming self-sustainable as a nation. So I hope to see you guys there. And I also was able to help create a tool that's culturally relevant pretty much to anybody. If you think about it, we all have our own families in our homes. And so this was a worksheet that I created for my family canoe. And this worksheet is for many ages. So, and to help remind us how we're not alone, because we're so easy to get lost in our day-to-day work, school, you name it. And so I did not put any pictures or any tribal designs within this drawing, so people can create their own tribal design. People could add their own faces and add their own people within their canoe. And this really helps my youth when I get to work with them on remembering, like, hey, yeah, that's right. I may not be skippering my canoe or guiding the canoe. That actually is still my mom. And that's okay, you know. And who's sitting next to me? Is it my best friend? Is it my dad? Is it my grandma? And who's setting pace to my life? Who's helped guiding me through this? So, excuse me. So I've been very honored to be able to make these kinds of tools. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Minnie.
Thank you, Carmen. I think we're the one who have really we all benefit from Carmen sharing this information. The This worksheet is a real practical application of how people can identify relationships and really think about how do we strengthen them. So thank you, Carmen, for making it and continuing to share it out with our community. I'm going to move to talk about the resilience kits. So this is something else in addition to Resilience Month events that we're offering over the course of October. We will distribute 300 resiliency kits. They will be actually given by partners whom we call trusted ambassadors. And so those partners will look like people, well, you can see here on the slide, they say 32% last year were given to children, families, and educational entities. So it could look like Port Angeles School District or First Step Family Support Center. They will get the kits and then they will be able to distribute them either internally to staff, to volunteers, or to clients. They get to make the decisions about who they want to strengthen connections with and how those connections then look and feel. You can also see on this list 18% to elders and seniors. We're working with Port Angeles Senior and Community Center, and they're going to be one of our trusted ambassadors this year. 20% to health-facing care and healing partners. We're really honored to work with the Lower Elwha Healing Court. They're one of the trusted partners this year. 13% to housing and food center partners. Forks Food Bank has been one of our partners, as has Port Angeles Food Bank, and so they're distributing kits again. So it's such a privilege. Let me tell you more about what these kits are. So this year we decided to spend some time investing in events that produce the kit in order to create some of those positive childhood experiences or just positive community experiences. I'm going to go over two sort of production cycles that we did for the kits. Both cycles involved intergenerational families as well as summer interns with the Clallam Resilience Project. So the first one is around the Port Angeles School Garden with WSU Extensions was able to help gather plants that then could be processed at a local business, Goodness Tea. And they were able to pick the tea plants and then process them. And then ultimately they're making a loose leaf tea called Relating, which is going to be in every kit. Then we also were partnering again with WSU Extensions, the Gleaners this time, and they were able to gather fruit from around our community, and Port Angeles Food Bank also contributed these fruit to then Maple Street Kitchen, where families and caring community members and interns were able to make fruit leather that will be in the kit. And the kit then ends up looking like kind of a tea party where it will have cups and food and conversation cards for people to sit down and engage with. Here's some of our sponsors and partners. You can see ranging sector and that they are through these kits and then through the distributing them, they're creating these tangible opportunities to work around relational health. Here is more detail about what's inside of the kit. There are things like these little conversation cards that Olympic Medical Center helped to produce, and they have questions that we can sit down and talk to somebody about. And so I'm going to give you an example of a video that one of our summer interns made around these conversation cards.
What are you in the process of outgrowing?
A bad habit I'm outgrowing is like trying to go back to sleep when my alarm goes off and I need to get up for school.
What book or movie has changed the way you thought?
Well, when I was a kid, I watched the movie version of Where the Wild Things Are, and it was the first time when I was a kid I experienced a sense of existential dread because it was so sad, and it changed the way I thought of people in my childhood.
Where do you go and what do you do when you want to restore your energy?
When I want to restore my energy, usually I go to my couch, I lay down, put a 5-minute timer on, and I take deep breaths, and I close my eyes, and when the timer's done, I usually wake up feeling refreshed and my mind is reset.
If you could have dinner with any 3 people, who would they be?
Gerard Way, Mikey Way, and Frank Iero from the hit band My Chemical Romance, specifically in their Danger Days era, which is around 2010.
Very cool.
So you'll notice that there's some back and forth, right, between even in this sort of interview component between the person who's asking the question and the person who's answering them. That's part of our hope, is that then these trusted ambassadors have this back and forth with clients, with volunteers, with people that they want to help build connection with, and that then creates a positive experience. Our final thread of Resilience Month are local proclamations. I was privileged to be able to go out to Forks City Council on Monday and receive a proclamation from their mayor. Each year we have proclamations that are going through city councils and to their commissioners, sort of declaring October as Resilience Awareness Month. And what I think is really important, one of the things that's really important about this process is what Carmen had mentioned earlier, that it's developing this shared language and common understanding. So our leaders are having this powerful tool of saying strong social connections across the lifespan are primary force in helping to promote well-being. And so having them articulate that and publicly declare October as Resilience Month helps to spread information in another way. How do we know if we're successful? Well, there are a number of ways that we're measuring that success. We're looking at whether it's the number of kits distributed, the feedback about the kits, the partners contributing to the kits, the participants' response to the kits and to the events. I think a number of the metrics are quantitative and qualitative, that people say when they're giving the kit that they are really creating this connection and this trust and perhaps even some empathy. And we're looking at a tool to better measure that this year. But people have said, I had one family come back and thank me for the bag. She was a huge fan of the teas. Thank you so much for letting us be part of this initiative. Another family said the intergenerational interaction was great at some of the events. And that's really what we're looking for, is some of that immediate response. But then we're also looking for community long-term benefits. Again, we're going to lean into the research around positive childhood experiences, and that we see that as having long-term health and economic benefits in our community. So you can see not only if there's immediate response of things like graduating from college, but even long-term response about income production over the course of the lifespan. I think, and that's important, again, for individuals' well-being, but then also for community well-being. So what are different ways that you could be involved? You could participate. We really welcome you to go to a poetry reading, to go outside of your circle and maybe try an art class, go to a celebration of shadows at the Fine Arts Center and be with your family. There are a bunch of different ways that you can do that. You could look at our calendar. This QR code takes you, the QR code on your left takes you to the Resilience Month page on our website. The one in the middle QR code is around our weekly newsletter. And so for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be giving updates about what the events are. And so we'd welcome you to sign up for that. And then you could share those. Again, I think some of the social bridging that could occur around going outside of what you traditionally go to might be a way to build some of that community wellness that we're looking to foster. And then finally, we just recognize that this work is best done together in forums like this, and that as a community, we can create little micro communities and conversations like this to sort of share the information and opportunities. But then individually, if you're interested in offering time or resources, we welcome that as well. And we'll end our slides with thanking you. This is an example again of how art affects humans, that nature is so potent. In fact, that even just the suggestion of it through a simulated experience changes our physiology. So we know some of these components bring a balanced homeostasis or wellness to us. Thank you to the EDC. Thank you to Colleen in absentia, Mitch, Justine for hosting us. And thank all of you for your time and participation. Here's our emails and phones if you want to reach out to us as well.
Great. I would encourage putting those emails in the chat as well, so I can just click it right away for easier access. But thank you for the presentation. Well presented. Does anyone have any questions right off the bat? Looks like John asks, do you want to comment on the Paddle the Elwha event? You used a canoe within your presentation.
Yeah, so to help our kids relate culturally and everything, that's why I use that paper. But again, anybody can relate to having their own family canoe, right? The Lower Elba canoe journeys went very well. I think this is what you would like to hear. Canoe journey started back in 1989 to help bring our communities back together. We used to have annual potlatches, which is very similar to today's canoe journeys. And at our canoe journeys, we will invite many tribes all the way up from Alaska down to California to come join us in our festivities. We have tons of food. We dance, we sing, and we celebrate pretty much all through the night. And today we only go till about 5-7 days in our celebration, where years ago it could go for weeks. In my culture, the more you give, the richer you are. So gift giving is very important. I would like to thank Port Angeles community and my Lower Elba community, because we had created almost 12,000 handmade gifts. So it was pretty phenomenal. Very beautiful. We're really grateful. Many people come down from all surrounding communities from all over. As I was walking from one job site to another for myself, it was awesome to hear different languages. And we could hear people's curiosity, and so that was really wonderful. So great question, Hutchinson.
Great. I had a question earlier in the presentation. You displayed some pretty eye-popping statistics, and they may come from varying sources, but where do you typically pull those numbers from? Might depend on the slide.
Yeah, there are like consortiums or coalitions across the country and the state. So October's Resilience Month was not one of our ideas. It was actually coming from Walla Walla and Community Resilience Initiative. They have been a powerful point of putting out information, but there's also sort of national organizations like CTIP, which stands for the Center of Trauma Informed Policy, and they work in Washington, D.C. They've been an excellent resource for giving information around how policy and economics can be considered in this work and how to advocate for that. We also look at, again, like public health reports. The CDC has put out a number of pieces of information, which I think are very relevant to thinking about adverse childhood experiences. They often house it under violence prevention.
Got
So
it.
that's where some of the places of this information has been gathered from.
Got it. Great. Any other questions from the group? I'm not seeing any. Must mean that you gave a thorough presentation. It's usually a good thing. Um, besides that, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your time this morning, Minnie and Carmen.
Yeah.
Like I said, this will be up on our website later today, so feel free to share it with your network. And looking forward to Resilience Month next month.
Thank you. We really appreciate the opportunity to share. We know that this group has a lot of connections, right? You are caring, connected, committed humans. And so we welcome for you to share this information and then also to reach out to us if there are other ways that you think that we could bring this information to the people in your spheres. So thank you again, Mitch.
Yeah, no problem. It looks like they just put their contact information in the chat if anyone wants to grab that. And next week, we are hosting Tanner Zart from the College Success Foundation and then Kareem Borders from West Sound STEM Network. So hope to see you all there. Have a great morning, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hattinson, thank you.